Good morning. It is Tuesday, May 26th. We are 90 days out from August 24th. Your DT, D2 this week, you're calling your N's and your R's and you are texting your E's. Wrapping up quick start, we will head into Breakthrough Club, your chance to make sure that you're having the necessary conversations and interactions to build the business that you desire. That happens at 9 o'clock to noon o'clock every day, Monday through Friday. Available in the background like a study hall if you need a place to go and make sure you're working on your business, right? And building that. The rules of a database. The rules of the database are open it. So whether you're using Command or Follow-Up Boss or Brevity or you name it, right? You open it, you build it, you feed it every day, you communicate with it, and then you service the leads that come from it. Those are the rules of your database. Ask yourself, where do you stand with that, right? Our biggest challenge is we set these goals every year, and then you get to a point where you're like, well, yeah, I had this goal, but then things changed. Things got like, what got in the way? What got in between you and what you wanted for yourself when you sat in business planning clinic last fall? And ask yourself, what's more important than what you wanted for yourself and your loved ones? I would argue nothing, right? So we wanted to carve out that place. We've always protected mornings here at KWCLM. A few years ago, handful of years ago now, we installed Fight Club, which is now Breakthrough Club. Breakthrough Club today at 9. We'll do that until noon. And then, of course, we have the midday protocol. But before we get there at 11 o'clock, if you do want to jump out and have a conversation about all the money that you're earning, all the wealth that you're building, that happens every Tuesday at 11 o'clock. The Wealthy Agent webinar with the Matthew Erdman. He is the operating principal for beautiful downtown Connecticut. He's the Hartford, Connecticut, or Greater Hartford, as it were, operating principal. A fantastic talent and a great wealth of knowledge when it comes to investing and you know, whether it's financially or in real estate. He's done it all. And when you do see him, ask him about Sizzler. He loves a good Sizzler. It's a long story. We won't get into it, but ask him nonetheless. That's at 11 o'clock today. You can click that on the Zoom button, which is in the morning news. At noon o'clock, in the same place where we're doing our Breakthrough Club, where we're having our conversations and our interactions, whatever you're doing to work on your business. If you're working on social media, whatever you're doing, just camera on, microphone off. So everyone else that's in that room can see you actually working, because that's the big thing. Everyone feels like they're in isolation when they're doing their lead gen. But then we want to get together at noon and we do the midday protocol. And I ask you 3 simple questions. How many conversations or interactions have you had since we last spoke? And it's been a while. Hope you had a good weekend. I trust you did. How many appointments have you set to sit with your buyers and sellers and investors? And then how many agreements have you signed? Have you signed buyers and sellers into your business? Have you signed purchase and sales? Those are the 3 lead indicators that tell us where we are in relationship to our goal. And if we're not tracking those, right, we cannot grow what we don't track. So let's have that conversation today at noon. We're also going to talk about a great book called The Energy Bus. And I want to talk about that a little bit today. We're going to talk about fanatical prospecting this week too on the midday protocol. And then today at 1 o'clock, live on the Zooms, today at 1 o'clock, antitrust in real estate, 3 credits for New Hampshire, Maine, and Vermont, and 2 for Massachusetts. And that is on the Zooms. You can sign up for that class with Shannon at therealestateclass.com, therealestateclass.com. She's today at 1 o'clock on the Zooms. And you have to sign up for that class to make sure you can join her on the Zooms for that. All that aside, let's talk about energy. Coming back from this holiday, you had a ton of conversations. We talk every fall about the fact that as soon as you get to like Halloween, on the other side of Halloween, you've got Chicken Giving coming up. You've got Christmas. You've got Hanukkah. You've got New Year's. You're going to see a lot of people in the wild at cocktail parties, holiday parties. A lot of people saw a lot of people for a myriad of reasons this weekend, whether you were traveling, whether you were at backyard barbecues, whatever you were doing to commemorate Memorial Day. And there were conversations without fail about life changes. We're having people graduate from high school, People graduate from college. People sending their last little birdie out of the nest. There's a lot of life-changing conversations that are taking place. People are asking you about interest rates. People are asking you about the market. What kind of energy did you bring to that conversation? Something that's important for us to understand is when we enter into these conversations, when we walk into these rooms, when we enter these spaces, it is wildly important that we play the part of the thermostat, not the thermometer. If we go in and adjust to the temperature of the conversation, adjust to the temperature of the room, it will get away from us. We have to be the voice of reason. We have to be the voice of our industry. And that comes with logic and common sense and a smile and energy. When somebody says, how's the market? And this was a great point made by our dear friend, Brady Sondal. He was teaching every first Wednesday of the month. He does a fantastic luxury mastermind at 11 o'clock. And then our dear friend, Adam Dow, does a mastermind after Brady's call. And it was a few weeks ago that Brady talked about he was having a conversation with a client. And they said, wow, we're getting such different answers. We're getting such different energy from you about what's going on in the market. And we never talk about better or worse, right? We do not compare ourselves to others. We just say people run their businesses differently. And yet here's the challenge. How will you show up in that moment? Phil M. Jones says all of the time, the moment that you don't want to figure out what you're about to say is in the moment. Phil M. Jones, author, Exactly What to Say, also has a book, Exactly What to Say for Real Estate Agents. Speech patterns, thought patterns. So in that moment, what do you say? Do you say, yo, it's crazy out there? Do you catastrophize it for them? Or do you talk about the opportunity? The words that they need to hear. And let me be stone cold in saying this. We are never, ever going to convince somebody to buy, sell, or invest in real estate unless it's appropriate for them. They're just not going to do it. It's going to have to make sense for them. And I've heard stories over the years where many of you have said, I talked my client off the hill, off the ledge. Because mathematically, the math didn't math. It didn't make sense for them, whether it was an investment or they were going to be handcuffed to the house and it was going to erode their lifestyle. Yeah, the McCarthys got their house and now they're going to eat ramen probably for the next 8 years. You know, until they get caught up. What kind of energy are we bringing to the conversation? What questions are we asking? And how are we asking them? Back to the thermostat and the thermometer. We have to go in and set the temperature. We set the dialogue for our industry in this city. Whichever city or town you're working in, whichever city or town you threaten to be the mayor of, are you the voice that they hear? Are you the voice that they repeat? Are you giving them the words that they will ruminate over and bring up at dinner or bring up at the office the next day? Or are you letting it be cable news? Or are you letting it be the so-called expert online. Are you the local economist? Are they going to hear from you today? And based on the DTD2, if they're an N or an R, they should be getting a call this week. If they're an E, they should be getting a text. What will that text say? What will that call be about? How will you bring them value? What are you doing to stay connected? We talk about this all the time. The math will always be similar. 6% of the United States will buy, sell, or invest in the next 12 months. So you can take that math and you can distill that down to the amount of people in your phone, the amount of people in your database, wherever your people live right now. We want to move them to the database. I know you know that. I'm just saying. 6% of the people that you know are going to be part of or right next to a transaction in the next 12 months. What are you doing to make sure you help them? You guide them towards success. We do not have the luxury of telling ourselves that I won't bother calling the Jacksons. They just moved. They're not going to move for 7 to 10 years, according to Timmy and Nate and Gary. So I'll call them in 6.5 years. What if there was a job change? What if there was a death in the family? What if there was a divorce, God forbid? We don't know what's going on with our people. And what a blessing it is that we get to call and talk to the people that we know and love and trust to find out what's going on with them. The easiest blueprint for a conversation this week is, hey, how was your holiday? What did you do? How are you? And just let them talk. Be the connective tissue of the town that you live in. Connect them with the painter they need. Connect them with the butcher they're looking for if they have an event coming up. All of that seems granular. I completely understand that. But that's the client service that gets done at the finest institutions. Where they suspect what the need will be. And they service it before it happens. What need will you intercept today? What service will you fulfill? And are you willing to go that granular to create the building blocks to have these people think of you when the time comes for them to make their next move, to buy, sell, or invest? Everything you want in this industry is on the other side of the decision you're going to make today about how you're going to show up, the energy you're going to bring, and the conversation you're going to invite people into. Bold law. People grow into the conversations we create around them. What are you creating? If I can help, let me know. It's 603-834-2856. You can also book my face at meetwithcoach.com. I trust you'll have a great day. We'll see you in and around the market center and the internet. Take care.